50% throttle. I'm not even gunning it. Oh, this car is so fast that your balls go to your throat. It still sounds like total shit for a $2 million car. You know, a lot of people hate this car. They will say things like, well, it's a hybrid, so it's not a real Ferrari. They'll say things like, well, it's really fast, honestly, too fast for the street. And I'd say, yeah, you're actually 100% correct. It's actually so fast that you can't really drive it on the street because it's just getting to 150 miles an hour in second gear. It's like insane. It just doesn't make any sense why you would possibly need that kind of power in a car. They'll also argue that the SF90 has carbon seats that are incredibly uncomfortable, but yet the carbon seats are where the value's at. And the worst part about it is that it's constantly plagued with issues, especially if you have a first year in 2021 car. So, is this Ferrari's biggest failure? Welcome back to Exotic Car Hacks, and today we are reviewing my brand new SF90 XX. That's right, this is an XX car, and yes, you heard me say correctly that this is a Ferrari, and I hate Ferrari, yet I keep clearly buying new Ferraris. So today we're going to talk about why I decided to buy an SF90 XX outside of the investment part of it, and we're going to talk a little bit about what makes this car quite unique, because I feel that after watching so many of the reviews on the internet, very few people actually have an opinion on this car that really held any ground. And Doug DeMuro's opinion I felt was the closest one to reality, where he reviewed it as a $1 million hypercar. And I do want to say that, yes, this is an XX car. Yes, this is a $1.2 million sticker, but it's far from a $1 million car. As a matter of fact, this is one of the first modern Ferraris that actually has a wing on it directly from the factory, something Ferrari doesn't do, and it resells used for $2 million, which means 2 times plus MSRP. Now, it's fairly new, and they made about 800 of them, but yet somehow that's still rare, especially since they made 800 of their F80 car too. So the XX is an interesting proposition, just generally an interesting car. And I'll tell you what I think about it from the outside all the way into the driving. But let's start by saying this. I'm one of the very few people that has owned 3 SF90s and actually enjoyed the product from Ferrari very much. I thought it had its little quirks and its little issues, starting with the steering wheel being total dog shit, and that the car was way too fast. So I agreed with all these things. But partially, the speed and the fast was also because it felt flimsy. So it had too much power for how flimsy it felt. On the other side, the Revuelto seemed to be very composed for having very similar power. So it just told me that the SF90 product, while innovative in nature and sure the first of its kind well before the Revuelto, still not that great of a product. Even though I've said something, and I'll own that, and I know people may disagree with me, in my opinion, the original SF90, now this is next level, but the original SF90 is one of the best looking Ferraris in modern times that has ever come out of the brand. And now the old designs certainly are over, but looking at the new Testarossa, the 296, and many of the other products they've put out, I'm a big fan of the SF90 design. Now the XX takes that to a whole other level. And let's talk about that generally. Wider fenders, these superb headlight complementary carbon canards here, followed by this huge carbon lip, and this very accentuated, beautiful 2-scoop carbon center. Now, in addition to that, there is no frunk here. This is all hardware for racing. and you have a very beautiful carbon tonneau cover under. Now, but here, you have your two carbon scoops here, and some of the other key aspects of this design, you'll notice these fender flares here that continue not available on the SF90. You'll see the beautiful carbon wheels, obviously standard on many Ferraris. This amazingly large side skirt and oversized hood scoop, and this back just goes to a whole new level. Like, this back is almost completely new. So first off, you have this really unique two-scoop theory here focused, which means you can see absolutely nothing from inside the car, similar to the 812 Comp, and have to use a camera. Secondly, you'll see the engine is down exactly where it needs to be, and it is surrounded by carbon fiber, and yes, an actual factory wing, which is insane. But look at this. Look at this. First off, you're gonna love my plate, which, you know, I'm really proud of, but really, look at this. How insane is this? Like, how crazy is this design? Center-mounted exhaust surrounded by carbon fiber everywhere. Huge diffuser, side canards. Should be celebrated because design has become pretty dead in the car industry recently, and this is iconic. Now, it's iconic for many reasons, but let's go inside and take a look at some of the differences that this car has with the rest of the SF90. First off, it shares a very similar door. Now you have these accents here, which are, again, beautiful, and it gives you the Atelier, because this is an Atelier car, with the 799 one of whatever. You'll also note that the paint is Viola Kong, which is metallic, but I've decided to matte PPF it, and I think it was worth it because it looks absolutely striking in design now that it's matte. It has a very Batmanish feel. But I think the two most improved aspect of the car outside of the exterior design, or I should say the next aspect of the car, because the exterior design is number one, is actually this seat. And I'm gonna give Ferrari credit for something which I've never done in my life. I want you to take a look at this. In every single race seat in the world, when you sit at the edge of the seat, your ass hurts, your balls go to your throat, and you basically struggle to get in the car. But Ferrari has fixed this, and they've done it in a way that I cannot say could actually be better than this. So the seat is supportive, it's excellent. But getting in the car is fucking amazing. And let me show you this. Look at what happens to my back here as I sit. Normally, I'm doing it slow here. I will hit here and slide literally on this slider side and have zero pain here because everything is covered in beautiful Alcantara, and then sit in the car. There is no pain, there is no carbon hitting me anywhere, and here I am superbly supported in this seat. And it is glorious in nature. It is beautiful, absolutely beautiful in every way I can think of. The interior of this car is fucking spectacular. Now, it's not without its fault, because they did change a few things where the steering wheel now has buttons, but they didn't change the AC control and this side bullshit here, which means it takes 30 minutes to adjust your mirrors because you're trying to figure out what to fucking do. And it's still really fucking stupid because they just didn't need to do this to begin with. And they, in the 4 fucking years I've had this car, they could have fixed this shit, but they didn't. Why they didn't on a $2 million car, I can only think because they wanted to save money, but at least they fixed the steering wheel somewhat. Most of the things here on the steering wheel are no longer digital, and there are buttons. It's still digital, but now you have the indent for the buttons, so you're pressing the right thing. I still think this interface is totally stupid and doesn't really do anything. But you do get a cup holder, and a quality one. You do get a key holder, and all your transmission, everything does look great. The car feels great, minus these two controls. Everything else is really in place the way it should really be. You have a button to open the door, you have full carbon doors with these inserts, and of course they can be painted and changed. But the two-tone combination here for the car is just excellent all around. It just works really, really well. And getting out of the car is also easy because you see everything here, nothing actually hurts you. It's very easy to get out. And the seat is really probably the best race seat I have ever sat in. So for that reason, I think it's very important to note how clean and beautiful this car has actually come out. A lot of people, like I told you, don't really like the SF90. They think that it drives a little too fast, and it does. But what this car immediately does as soon as you get in it is you feel the seat just make you feel much better than the previous non-XX seat, but the steering wheel firmness and the paddles immediately find a whole level of like sturdiness that doesn't exist in a regular Fiorina SF90. Like it just works so much better because of this very small tweak. And one of the things I've always said generally about some of the most amazing variations of cars, like the Huracan Performante compared to the Huracan, is that the power wasn't in the fact that it had so much more horsepower, but it was in the fact that it felt so much better. And this car feels much, much better than the regular SF90. Now, remember originally I told you these buttons have been swapped. Instead of having digital, you still have digital, but now you have indents in the steering wheel. And that gives you a sense of knowing what to actually press. But they didn't correct these two things again. So your AC shit and these mirror things, one of the worst things in the world here. And then you have your second zone LED here, which is really primarily for the music and you know, to see revs that you could care less about. But generally speaking, like the dash and the overlay experience of the car is very similar, very, very similar to the regular SF90. The real change, in my opinion, comes from the driving dynamic feel and nothing else. I would actually argue that even the power doesn't feel that different because the SF90 was so fast to begin with, it was so difficult to push it to limits just because of what it was. So in this case now, what this is absolutely refined in driving dynamic compared to the regular one. And I don't know that the regular one really needed more power if you think about it. I don't think it needed that. Because no matter how you look at it, feel this. Shit. It's like, and that's like 50% of the throttle. It's not even like on the throttle. This car is so fast that your balls go to your throat. At every gear, no matter what, it still doesn't feel as composed as a Revuelto, even though it is more composed than an XX, than a regular SF90 as an XX car. But it's just not. Like, it is spectacular in driving, but it still doesn't feel as refined in any way as, like, the Revuelto seems to have more grip, more like firmness planted to it. This car is amazing compared to an SF90. I don't know that it's spectacularly better than other car variants just because it's an XX car. I would also argue that if you primarily don't like the design of the SF90, this car will do almost nothing for you. I memean, like almost nothing at all, because it's still an SF90. It still feels like an SF90, and it drives like an SF90, meaning it's a better SF90, but it's still very much an SF90. And I think that, you know, like a Pista wasn't very much a 488, and if I think about like a Performante, it wasn't very much like a Huracan. It was something dramatically better. I don't know that this is dramatically better than an SF90. It drives better, it grips better, it holds better, it sounds maybe 10% better, and let's be honest, it still sounds like total shit for a $2 million car because of the hybrid system, and it's very unfortunate that it sounds and feels that way, but it does, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it's unfortunate, but at $2 million, I expect the fucking thing to sound good, even if it doesn't actually like, it shouldn't need me going out and putting an exhaust on it. I think like a Revuelto sounds great, and I think if the Revuelto sounds great, then why can't this sound great? You know, like why do I need to do something to like, this is still 50% throttle. I'm not even gunning it. Like, it's insane how fast this car is. It's like bonkers fast, right? Like, and it's only 50%. That's the crazy part. It's not even like full throttle down, foot down. Like, I think we'd be spinning everywhere. This car is like stupid fast, and it feels very, very good. You know, compared to the SF90, this is a dream to drive. I can see very few cars having the type of acceleration this car has, especially in mid-range. It seems to have power at every single gear, at every single time we gun it, no matter what gear we're in. It just hits so good. So amazing all around. But anyways, so let's go back to the warehouse. And so concludes the review of the SF90XX from an actual owner. What do you think? You tell me. Is this worth the $2 million price tag, or is the 812 Competizione the only rare car worth the $2 million price tag? These are interesting modern cars from Ferrari, and only time will tell where their values actually land. But the reality is that I think this car is going to make me still 300 to 500K, and so regardless that the experience is as amazing as I think or not, it will still make its money and carry its own legacy. It is very interesting to own an XX car. I haven't spent enough time with the car except just a few drives there and there to really push it, understand it, etc. But I also don't see myself, based on what I said during the drive, seeing this car as a forever car either. Not because of the spec, because I do think the spec is a forever spec, but the actual car itself is too low sounding and too particular and razor sharp to really be a forever car that's connected to my emotions. Those are my thoughts on the SF90XX. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content from an actual exotic car owner. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you next time for Exotic Car Hacks.